Some mountains in men are bigger than you think. Some rivers so fast, hell, you can't take a drink. Some burdens so heavy.
Hey folks, I wanted to talk to you today about the Blackhawk SERPA holster. Now, this holster comes for pretty much any weapon system that you can imagine. 1911 Commander, Government, Beretta 92, FN 5.7, every single Glock, H&K P2000s, USPs, Ruger P95s, P85s, Smith & Wesson 4000s, SIG 226, 229, 228, 220, Springfield XDs, Taurus Judges, Taurus 85s. It comes in pretty much any of the more popular of pistols. Now, I did a review on the Bursa a little while back. It does not come for that, but then again, the Bursa really doesn't have a lot of options along the mainstream aftermarkets. And however, this is a Glock 17, so this is which is the 9mm version, and obviously it works for this. This is why I use it. So as you can see, that's what it'll look like when it's in there. You can have two different varieties it comes with when you buy it. This is specifically the SERPA CQC. They make a couple different ones. They make one with they make them with the paddle holster, which is that's what this is. I don't know if you can see that. There's these little tongs right here and right here as well, and that's what grips onto your belt and on your waistline. So the reason I like the paddle holster is that it'll come off, so I can just take the whole holster off without taking my belt off when I take the weapon off my hip. It'll also come with the belt loop holster, and you just take these screws out and you put the one for the belt loop on there, and then you just loop it through just like you would a standard holster, kind of like what you would have for, this is for my 45, and that's where the 45 goes in, but this is kind of what you'll see, but it'll be in hard plastic. And the thing that's really nice about this is that you can angle it any way you want. You can have it a little bit higher, you can have it kind of at an angle forward, angle backward, so that can kind of go along with, you know, however you carry that pistol, especially if you're going to have it on your left side and you reach with your right hand. You're going to want to have it angled forward slightly. To personally, whenever I've carried anything on my left hand side, because of the situation, I'd like to have it angled forward slightly so I'm not reaching over and angling my hand at a 90-degree angle to get it, where I can kind of come in at that natural 45-degree angle to grab it. It works pretty slick. I painted this up, just spray painted it so that it's not black. It's kind of a brownish green. But the thing about the SERPA is, as you can see, when that slides in there, this is what clicks in. And to release it, what you'll do is you just, as you're reaching down, you'll engage this little button right here, and that's what releases the pistol. So when you're pulling out, the reason I like it is, instead of having kind of the standard cop ones that you'll see where they have kind of the retention strap over the top or something along those lines, I like it because what engages it is my trigger finger right here. So when I pull it out, as you can see, my finger is already near right on the trigger guard there. And as anyone who's been through any kind of tactical training, is that you keep your finger straight and off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Now, what this does is, so when I'm pulling it out, my finger's not in the trigger and could possibly engage it on accident as I'm pulling it out of my holster. So when you pull it out, well, I mean, that's going to be more for a training aspect than anything else. I've heard some rumblings online about people saying that this thing has engaged the trigger itself, and I really don't see how that's possible, because I don't know if you can see in there, the trigger sits right about here. The trigger guard, this front part, sits right in here, so I don't really know what could grab onto that trigger and cause it to fire. Now, with a Glock, there is no external safety. The safeties with the Glock are your finger for one, and another, it will not fire. Make sure it's safe, and it is clear, is that you need it to, your finger to actually be in there and press on this little clip right here. Now, something like the SIG or whatever would have an external safety, so you'd have to clip that off or have that on fire for that to happen, but I really don't see how it could happen. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I've never had an issue with this. I've had this holster for a long time. I carried it with me when I was overseas. I mean, we did hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of training, as well as real life scenarios and everything like that, and then all the time that I've been back home as well. And in between, when I'd go home and I'd shoot, I never had an issue with any of these things malfunctioning at all. So I really like it for this, and it's a really good overall, you know, I really like it. It's my favorite one. I mean, I like my little 45 leather holster. It's pretty slick. I mean, there's no frills. The only thing I don't like is there is no retention on it. So the only retention you really have is how tight you tighten down these screws on here to hold the pistol in. Now, you know, that can have its own issues. I like to have retention on it. So I'm actually thinking about upgrading for my 45, but with this, I don't have to worry about that at all. I mean, you can pull all you want on it, and it's not gonna release. It's my favorite holster that I've gotten so far. It goes for about $50 on the Blackhawk website. And I think I've seen it at various sportsman's warehouses for between $40 and $50 as well. They also make full length. SERPA makes all different kinds of variations on this. Like I said, this is CQC. They make them in carbon fiber. They make ones for tactical leg holsters that actually wrap around on your leg. They also make ones for department specifications for police departments where they actually have that piece that goes up over around the back. The leg holster one, it's kind of like the Safariland. Well, the Safariland ones you'll see actually have a strap that comes around here, and you actually push down on your thumb and kind of push this strap. The strap will kind of be like right here, and you push down on your thumb on the thing and rotate the strap forward and then pull it out. I mean, I like leg holsters, but they're not something that you can carry on a daily basis, depending on where you live, as far as for what the towns and local law enforcement's feelings are on how you carry. I like to carry concealed, and this works pretty well. It's got, I mean, they call it a passive retention. It's an auto lock. It has a kind of, I like it because it's kind of got a speedier design for kind of a rapid draw, and like I said, it also has the paddle platform like I got right on here, and the belt loop as well. And you know, it's there's also the quick disconnect system that you can buy aftermarket from Blackhawk as well. But let me show you how that works. And as you can see, it just fits right into, let me tuck this in a little bit. It fits right into the paddle, or the paddle fits right into the belt loop right there. I have my Ridge Runner paracord belt right here, and like I said on the review for that was actually my first review of any product. It works really well. As you can see, there's really no wiggle at all for the pistol in that belt, and also there's only a slight little bit right there in the SERPA holster. So basically, when you're going to be drawing, you're going to be grabbing onto the pistol just like you normally would, and as you can see, my finger is engaging the button right here, and you're going to be pulling out, so you can actually kind of have it angle forward if you want to pull out that way or angled backwards if you prefer it that way. So when you pull out, and I rechecked it for safety, and this is actually an empty mag for training. So what you're going to do is just going to engage the button, pull it out, acquire your target, you know, fire if need be. But it works pretty slick. I mean, you can just grab it up pretty quick. And as you can see, kind of jumping around, it's not going to fall out. The paddle holster, it can kind of dig into your side a little bit. I've noticed with the plastic on the inside, it can do that. If you really want to, you could probably glue some moleskin on the interior of the paddle where it rubs up against your skin. But I really haven't had any issues with it any more than I have any other pistol or paddle holster at all. It's actually extremely comfortable. Even riding in the car, I'll carry it just like this, and I'll just put my seatbelt, you know, over it and everything like that. So it just kind of depends on however you do. As you can see, though, I mean, the Glock 17's the full size, so it does not blend in extremely well, especially if you can kind of see how that can kind of get pushed up against the side. Someone can tell that you got something right there. But that's really not so much the SERPA holster as the fact that the Glock's just kind of a larger pistol, wider and thicker because of the staggered magazine and its design, and the fact that it's the full size and it's not the compact or subcompact. We carried Glock 19s when I was overseas, and since those are a little bit shorter, they fit pretty well. They're not as good as, say, like a Kydex or something along those lines, but really what sticks out is the length of the pistol, and by buying a subcompact or a compact, that will help out a lot. So anyways, I hope you can see that the SERPA is actually a really good holster for most of your weapons. You can go to blackhawk.com and check them out. I'll have a link on the video, on the post for the video, and you can go check out and see if your pistol can take the SERPA holster. If not, there are a lot of other options, but if you've got one of the ones that'll take this, I find it to be a really reliable and good holster. So anyways, the Great Northern Prepper is out.
I wore out my shoes in that wrong way to run. I blistered my skin working hard in the sun. Supper's almost over and I done cleaned my plate, and there's a light shining yonder, boys, I don't think I'll wait. I'm a laid back one and I've been one so long. I ain't perfect, you can tell by my songs. Brothers, forgive me for all of my wrongs. The good Lord, He's calling and it's time to go home. I hear Him calling and it's time to go